Hey everyone, your host Nick here, and you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. First, I want to remind you that we are a fully independent podcast, quite literally just a group of friends who have met once a week since 2008 to talk about video games. If you like our show, the best thing you can do for us is be active in our community. I recommend Discord. You can subscribe to our show, leave us a review on your preferred podcast service, or, if you're so inclined, bless us with your patronage on Patreon or Twitch. If you're new, all you need to know is this. We record these shows live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central on Twitch, and the audio version launches on all podcast services on Friday morning. Patreon and Twitch supporters will even get the show a day early on Thursdays. But if you want to know more about any of this, about what we do, or find all the important links you need, simply visit us at 4playernetwork.com. And that's it. This is the only ad you'll ever hear on this show. So, with that said, thank you for listening. Let's get started.
I figured it out, Nick. Oh wait, we haven't started.
Wait,
you wanted some indie horror in there. You know.
Do I?
To be like,
Did I?
Yeah,
Is that what I said?
You're like, this is the fucking peanuts they've been feeding us for the past 10 years. Now the real boys back, and these little indies inspired by Silent Hill can sit down. These pathetic Carlos games.
Look,
you know,
bitch,
the real shit's here. We score 88s, not 77s.
Look, bitch. Welcome to the show. Everybody, welcome to the show. This is 4Player Podcast, episode 812. Hold on.
Think about it, Nick. Think about it, Nick. These struggling indies, real creators, were inspired by Silent Hill, have been making indies for years and years because they love Silent Hill so much. They're like, oh, I'm going to do my homage. It's going to have this cool twist. And boom, 77. Boom, 77. They can't score above a 77. Then this fucking remake comes along. It's Bloober, who also, by the way, has been shipping 77s since, also loves Silent Hill. They're like, fuck it, we'll just remake the real deal because this is the only way we're going to get an 88, and boom. Boom.
Are you done?
Honestly.
Are you good? Are you done?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight. But the reason I wanted you to bring footage of 10 Bells, Brad, which you're going to talk about later on the show, is not for that reason. It's because I didn't want to be the only one with a game to talk about tonight.
Yeah, but that's only because you're not taking my UFO minutes seriously.
No, that's definitely not true. I just didn't put it in the thing. Look, sorry. This show is off to a rambling start, guys.
By the way, I've been calling it the UFO 50 minute because
so
I'm going to
take 50 minutes
about UFO
about
50 for 50 minutes.
Every episode.
Yeah.
We'll just devote the entire second segment to UFO 50.
Okay. Right.
We'll be able to walk away from the show.
Welcome to the podcast, guys. It's a great week for video games. Great week for Nick, I hear. We're going to hear all about it. It's very exciting. Anybody see any good movies? Halloween?
I watched the movie Trick or Treat for the first time. I've never seen that movie.
Weird that you had not seen that yet. I'm sure that's been recommended to you for years.
Yeah.
Adam Wingard?
Halloween campy movie.
It's pretty good. It's cool. I think the thing that stopped me from watching that movie for years, not really stopped me, but I just kind of like, I'll pick something else, is because when you read like the synopsis of it, it makes it sound like it's like four separate it's a series of short films, but it's really one film with four stories interwoven together, which I thought was really cool.
Like a horror anthology. That's pretty common.
Yeah, but it's a horror anthology where everything is happening in the same space, which I think which is kind of cool.
Also not uncommon, but it's a good one. It's a good one of those.
The point is, I watched it and I liked it. You asked if I watched any good movies.
I watched a random episode of X-Files and rewatched It Follows. That was the only thing remotely Halloween-y that I watched.
How did It Follows hold up for you years later?
Oh, it holds up well. That's they're
making a sequel, right?
In my opinion. I mean, people say a lot of things. Who knows?
No, I mean, like, that's pretty much confirmed, and I think they may have already even filmed it.
Nothing's confirmed until I see a trailer, basically.
That's fair.
Even then, these days. Show me the trailer. On that dude's IMDb, he's like working on something else that's coming out next year, so who knows about this?
I had a chance. I had a chance to go see The Substance, and I was going to... I was invited to go see The Substance by a dear friend. He was like, hey, you want to go see The Substance tonight at 10:50? And I was like, 10:50? It's like it's a 2+ hour movie
Look at
2.5 hour plus movie, and I was like,
little bitch. I was speaking
Can't
with
do it.
some women earlier this week.
why'd you say it like
We
that?
were talking
What?
about
Yeah.
the use of the word bitch, and how it's like inherently a little misogynistic, but if used a certain way, like little bitch, I feel like it still has that like I'm using it as an insult, and that's that's kind of inherently
Right.
misogynistic. Also, there's like but there's the toxic masculinity angle, right? Like me calling you a little bitch is mostly just saying like you're not a tough man or whatever, right? So I
Sure.
don't know. I think the conclusion we came to is the only way it like you filter out 100% of the misogyny is if you say like son of a bitch, like a curse to yourself. You're not directing it at
That's fair.
anybody. It's got to follow son of a.
How did we get onto this track? Did I call somebody a bitch?
I called you a little bitch.
Oh, you
'cause
called
you didn't
me a
want to go
little
see a
bitch.
movie at 10:50.
Dude, I'm old,
Bitch,
man.
you don't have children, man. I missed so much going to see movies.
Dude,
Especially ones.
I will go see movies up until about 10 o'clock. If they start around 10 o'clock, I'm down.
Where you gotta be?
Also,
Go watch your movie.
to be fair, Brad, I don't feel like I need to defend myself on this public platform, but I will. I went to dinner with some friends 2 hours prior to that, and I was drinking
The
beers.
early bird special.
I was drinking beers. Yes. Yeah. I went to Cracker Barrel and had some. No, I'm just kidding. That's not where I went. But I was drinking beers and I was sleepy, and I was like, I'm not going to make it.
You didn't have coffee with your pie?
I didn't. No, I did not.
feel like
what
it's very
the
old
fuck are we
people.
doing? Where are we? Oh God.
You were going to talk about video games? Or like,
yeah,
I don't know.
That is what we're here to do.
Anybody try that Oreo Coke Zero or those Coke flavored Oreos?
Coke
It's like a
Oreos?
crossover collab, yeah.
Okay,
That
I didn't know
sounds
about the Coke flavored
horrendous.
Oreos. No.
The Coke flavored Oreos were pretty like I would not eat more than one of those. It's not like oh, I gotta spit it out, but like it was a lot. It was very like pungent, and I could not eat more than one.
King
of those.
Carey says Coke flavor Oreo tastes like Vicks Vapor Rub.
It's
Wow.
a little dicey. The soda though is fine. I mean, it's a sweet, fake sugar.
Wait,
Coke
so
Zero.
you're saying there's an Oreo flavored Coke now to go
Mhm.
go with it?
It is a crossover event.
Well, the thing
you
is
will.
that it's specifically a Coke Zero, not a regular Coke.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a Coke Zero is what I drink, honestly, but it's fine. It's fine. The
we
Oreos,
started
stay away
during
from them.
trailer talk tonight. We just randomly started talking about lame crossovers.
Did we?
Well, again, I maybe I threw the word lame in there. I seem to be in the minority here. We were talking about the Call of Duty 6 crossover with Smile 2, which I thought was. I'm just
these
so
Halloween
I'm
events,
so
man.
no.
What do you do?
Here's what I think it comes down to. I'm just so sick of seeing inkling like a hint of something and being like, ooh, what's this? And then finding out that it's a crossover event for Dead by Daylight. You know what I mean? Which happens
that's
at least
very
4 or 5 times
I
a
think
year.
Soma Cruz is in Dead by Daylight now, which is crazy.
You know what? I am thinking.
I don't know
about-
if he's a survivor or I guess he's a survivor, which is absurd, but whatever.
I am thinking about putting Mortal Kombat 11 back in just so I can play as Ghostface. I'm here for it.
Ghostface is in it. You like
You played it to begin with?
Ghostface? Yeah.
I mean, I'm a stand for anything Scream related, so yeah, I will definitely
Okay.
play some Ghostface in Mortal Kombat.
Somebody at
What?
maybe I shouldn't say.
Oh god.
I was like, somebody said something about Freddie Prinze Jr. and I was like, yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. We like Freddie Prinze Jr. And he was like, actually. And I'm like, wait a minute, him and Sarah Michelle?
Yeah, he's married to
I'm
Sarah
like-
Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, what's wrong with them? And he's like, I don't know, read something, and I'm like, oh man, Nick can never find out. But here I am telling you.
Don't.
What is going
You're
on?
you're not telling me anything.
I think
Let's
they're
have-
registered Republicans.
Okay. Well. Okay.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
So are my
What the fuck are you gonna do? They don't talk about it openly, so at least there's
Oh,
that.
okay. I don't know. I didn't really dig in. Maybe he was just
Also-
running his mouth.
There's a lot of people who are probably registered Republicans prior to He Who Shall Not Be Named and are deeply ashamed
Yeah,
of it.
I did like 2 seconds of Googling, and it might have been actually.
Yeah, you know what you
Pre-Trump
may
Express.
have been looking at? The actress who played Buffy the Vampire Slayer in like the movie from the 80s.
Oh,
She's like a fucking Kevin Sorbo level like.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So basically everything related to Buffy, huh? Because isn't David Boreanaz also?
Dude, I don't fucking know and I don't care. Like
no,
they don't.
That's not.
Oh, no.
You're thinking of Dean Cain. Dean Cain.
Dean Cain is yeah. We're getting into. Welcome to Hollywood gossip.
The only
everybody.
good Buffy is a dead Buffy. I like to say.
Fuck up. She did die in the show.
Spike. Oh, okay.
Spoilers.
Well, no one's really dead, right?
Also, that's from 20 years ago. Anyways, fucking guys? Video games. We are, as we mentioned, we are going to revisit UFO 50 tonight. Nolan, did you pick 2 games as well to talk about from UFO 50?
No, I'm not talking about UFO 50. The only UFO 50 game I played is House Party. I gold carded it, and I was trying to cherry card it.
Wait, you're asking
the
him
red
about
card.
UFO 50?
No, I'm just saying.
Casually bring up UFO 50. I got footage.
Okay, well, no. Well,
He was asking if I was going to
He's
talk about it.
the
and
show.
what I was,
This is the
And I'm
longest and lamest introduction ever. But
there's been worse.
You know what
I
it
was
is? It's
essentially
because my
saying that-
earbuds in the wrong ear. There we go.
Brad, you
Sound
make it
good.
very
Your
difficult
earbud's in the
sometimes.
wrong head.
Sorry, Nolan, continue.
I was just saying that no, I do not have a whole lot more to talk about UFO 50 this week because I've only played House Party.
Did you
I
get the
did
cherry?
gold card it. I didn't get the cherry yet. My longest streak I think is 3.
It's crazy. It's a tough one.
Yeah, no, it is.
But you said you've been playing some more Zelda, though, right?
Oh yes, I've been playing Zelda, and I do have some things I want to talk about that tonight.
I am about 2.5 to 3 hours into Echoes of Wisdom, but I feel like I'm still very much in the like. I don't like. It's still like.
Let me ask you, where are you?
I'm just still kind of like running around I haven't even gotten to the first dungeon. I'm in like
you're
the
not 2.5 to 3 hours. This
I
is
mean,
classic.
I played it.
Nicholas.
I played it. I only say that because I played it for 2 of my lunch breaks, which is about an hour each. I'm guesstimating.
But
here,
you were
man.
probably like looking at your phone and putting it down and taking bites. The first dungeon is like the intro to the game, right? I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's like not even a real dungeon, unless
Which
you're
is
talking
why-
about the Gerudo dungeon.
Which is
in the
why I'm
desert.
sitting here telling you that I don't have much to say about it yet, but I
Yeah,
am
you don't,
enjoying it
yeah.
so far. I've gotten enough. Like I've gotten like a taste, like enough of a taste of like how puzzles are kind of designed around various powers and stuff. And I think that's just pretty
You'll
cool.
get there. Let me ask you: you are gonna play this game, finish it,
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah, I mean
Okay.
that's my plan. Are you asking me or Nolan?
No, I know. I mean, look, I'm asking you because Mario Wonder. I remember you picked up, but you like kind of barely touched it. And
Yeah, and then if memory serves, recently I told you that I started playing some Super Mario Wonder, and you called me out once again
because
for
it was
doing that instead of
2024. You were looking for like a playing game, and I'm like, come on, dog. If you didn't play this shit at release when the hype was the highest, you ain't gonna play this shit now. It just didn't seem like your bag back then.
I needed something, but now I have Zelda, so it is what it is. But you know what, guys? Tonight we have plenty to talk about. There's been some interesting news, which I'm going to use as kind of a segue into the first 2 games we're going to talk about tonight. Those being Silent Hill 2 and Metaphor ReFantazio, which I know, Brad, you don't want to get too deep into tonight because so far the only game that we've actually played at this point is the demo or the
I haven't even
prologue
gotten to
chapter.
combat. Did you get to combat?
Oh yeah. I've done about 3.5 hours of the demo, and I haven't
Yeah,
finished.
so
the demo.
I don't have much to say, but the game. Is
I
coming.
figured we could at least bring it up tonight because we're going to talk about the reviews a little bit, and then I figured we just get like some of the early shit out of the way. That way we don't have we can just kind of get right to the meat of the conversation later when we've actually played the game. But yeah, I mean, it's been kind of an interesting week news wise. It is October, it's Halloween season, and it also is the 10th anniversary of the release of Alien Isolation, which is a game that I love deeply. And I was kind of at peace with the idea that it was probably never going to get a follow-up. And Creative Assembly this week just kind of came out on the 10th anniversary and was like, by the way, we are in early development of Alien Isolation 2, which is
Who owns Creative Assembly now?
Sega.
Yeah,
I thought they got rid of them.
No.
No.
I don't think so.
They've definitely purged some of their.
But they
Western studios.
definitely pivoted after they did Alien Isolation. They pivoted back to the style of games that they're
Total War,
where they made a name for themselves.
Yeah.
With and I was like,
Remember
I love
Spartan Total Warrior.
Oh yeah, that was Creative Assembly.
Yeah, that was Creative Assembly.
Wow. Man, when they weave,
Action game spinoff.
they weave into like really interesting random things.
Viking, remember Viking? It was cool. That's
Yeah.
also
I own that game.
me
If
too.
you- yeah,
Chris,
it's like
it is.
$3 in
Yeah,
any
you
bargain
can't.
bin.
You do this shit a lot, and you do it too, Nick. Where it's like, well, fucking y'all. This game that I played was dope, and then you're like, well, I own it, and I'm like, well, I do too, and I played it. So who gives a shit that you own it?
Yeah, we should probably just only say that out loud when we've actually played it.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
why?
continue
You
to
can
do it.
say that if it's like some like cool, exciting, rare game. Like, oh man, you actually own that. Like,
I don't own cool.
like
and
for
exciting
you to
rare
be able to
games.
say you own something and have it still be impressive when you haven't actually played it, because the fact that you own something and haven't played it has like inherent like sadness to it. Like, well, that's sad that you actually haven't played it when you own
I
it.
have a
So it has to be
a deep,
has to be
deep
something-
well of sadness. Then
it has to be something like that is like impressive to own for you
Can
to
I
say
say that
I
about-
own that.
Can I say that about Pokemon Emerald?
Well, you've also played that, right?
Well, I have, but I'm just saying that game goes for like $250.
No, the
it's
way Chris
also-
Davis and Nick throw it around, it's like
Yes.
it's like I own it, but also haven't played it.
I own
guilty.
Jericho.
Guilty as charged. I've played Jericho. Guilty as charged, though. I mean,
I own
ironically,
multiple copies of Jericho.
ironically, I don't own Jericho, but I've played it. Anyways, neither here
Yeah, like
nor there.
Pocop saying I own Rule of Rose. That's impressive.
That
Because
is
that's
impressive.
like he's like 1,000 now.
That's
Or
what I
something.
think about Rule
It's
of
worth a
Rose.
lot, I think.
I owned Rule of Rose. I think before it was rare, and then I sold it, and now I'm like, fuck, because when I got rid of it, it was not worth much of anything. Anyways, yeah. So I just wanted to bring Alien Isolation up kind of at the top of the show, which kind of got me thinking this week. There's a lot of horror games that I'm kind of like interested in playing / revisiting in October. I'm thinking about, and I don't stream a lot anymore. But I think I might do like a long day-long horror stream, because I feel like that's the only way I'm going to get to a bunch of this shit. Like I want to play Outlast Trials.
Should we pencil you in for this Saturday or what?
I was thinking actually about that, but I'm not going to commit to
Wow.
anything just yet.
It's October 8th already, Nick.
I know, dude. This would be like the third Halloween that I've like dabbled in but haven't finished. In Sound Mind. I've had that game, and I love that game, and I play it every year. Like, this is the year I'm gonna finish In Sound Mind. Never fucking happens. So maybe I'll do that. And I want to play Hollow Body. There's just a bunch of shit. There's probably a whole slew of great indie games out there waiting to be tried as well. So,
Bunch of
Right,
77.
Some of them even have one
Bunch of
people playing them.
yep, that's probably
Yeah,
also true. No one.
sure.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're probably right, Brad. Playing a bunch of 77s. It's not a 77 though.
But
Alien Isolation.
What was the one that you played earlier a month or two ago?
A horror game?
Yeah, he already forgot it. He played
No.
few hours of Silent Hill, and he's always like, these 77s out of my
Dude,
memory.
fuck.
No longer have to pretend these are top 10 worthy.
I'm literally
doesn't remember.
struggling to think about what you're talking about.
The Horrors
Conscript?
of War? Yeah,
Conscript.
Conscript.
That's
Wow. What was that, a 77? Someone look up the...
no,
Open
that's an
Critic.
8. I'm pretty sure that's an 80 on Open Critic. But let me
Bullshit. That's like a 77.
it's on Carlos's thing. I've looked at it. He has 10 points for it, unless it went down. But there is not a world which Conscript isn't on my top 10 at the end of the year.
It's
so
a
fuck off
77
with
on
that.
Open Critic right now.
Is it? Well, it went down.
Yo, what is Hollow Body?
Wow.
If it's a 77, I swear to God.
Dude, I don't even know if Hollow Body got any fucking reviews.
It's a 75 or 76. Wow.
Close enough.
Yeah, it got reviews. People were hyped
Listen,
about it.
listen. The horror genre in both film and video games, it's just like even like it's so rare that anything. It's like 80% of the games that come out or movies that come out are just gonna like fall flat for most for most people. But that doesn't mean they're not worth watching or playing. It's just a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
If only one would come along that could fucking prove that horror games were worth it for the common man.
You're just in the mood to bully people tonight.
I'm trying to transition into him talking about his fucking Silent Hill game.
Look. Yes, I was trying to transition to talk about Silent Hill 2. And let me tell you, I bid on Silent Hill 2 in Fantasy Critic, and it was almost like I'm not going to lie, it was kind of like I'm a big Silent Hill fan, and I would feel bad if I didn't, but I'm not expecting. I was fully prepared for like.
I was calling you out for having not bid on it because, like, to me, that's like if Nick's not even bidding on this shit.
But you don't understand. You don't understand, and I've said that I've tried to kind of like convey this a lot on social media and in Discord, and I feel like I've kind of like failed. But like, there was no world in which I thought, even if this game was great, that I thought people were going to admit that it was great because it's made by Bloober. It's a remake of one of the best horror games ever made, and people just are very cynical about remakes.
But
and
you
Silent
just said
Hill,
one of the best horror games ever made,
right?
Not just best, but most respected.
But listen, Silent Hill as a franchise has fallen so far.
Yeah.
Like Resident Evil, like when they remade Resident Evil 2 and it was great. Resident Evil was still great at that point. It was still like they didn't need Resident Evil 2 remake to save the franchise. You know what I mean? Like people still loved Resident Evil.
You're mentioning top tier of like the horror genre. Silent Hill's been like gone for a long time. So like,
correct.
And they always had like different teams. They were outsourced, you know,
which they still are doing. In which, case in point, Silent Hill 2 Remake is Bloober Team, right? But there was no world in which I thought people were going to be open to enjoying Silent Hill 2. I thought like the best case scenario, it was going to get like a 75. Even if it was like an actual like 90, I didn't think people were going to admit
people were hostile to it, but it was mostly fans. You got to remember Bloober Team was shipping like games that people were not thrilled about, like the Medium, especially like
dude, the Medium
was not a well-liked game by critics or players or anybody. And it was specifically the story that was my god.
But listen, if you look at the last 3 or 4 games that Bloober Team has done, you got to consider a few things. One, they were shipping games that were made on a much smaller budget. They were lower budget original horror games, and most of them were pretty interesting. And I don't think, if you think about like The Observer and Blair Witch, there's one other that they did Layers of Fear, obviously.
Layers of Fear 2.
Layers of Fear 2. And everybody always talks about like the one like funny gif or whatever moment from Layers of Fear 2 that is like a meme with the kid running in the hallway and like hitting a wall or something. Like that's all everybody talks about. The Medium was a game that just they tried something and it didn't land. Whatever. That happens all the fucking time. It doesn't mean they're not good at, like, technically speaking, that was maybe one of the most impressive games they've ever done. So like, and you could see a lot of like Silent Hill like kind of like vibes and you could see like the DNA of Silent Hill kind of in there. It's the story obviously is what led to a lot of backlash because it was kind of mishandled, which made me worried myself. Honestly, I was worried they were really going to kind of like take some liberties with Silent Hill 2 and it wasn't going to work out. I was fully prepared for this to be a huge train wreck. Even if I played it and enjoyed it, I was not ready. I was not ready for the 88 that it has on OpenCritic.
I feel like maybe on like
60
draft
reviews.
night, it was like pretty dicey. But like since they started showing off the game properly in recent months,
I know it's been
like,
better reception.
It started to certainly look better.
Yeah,
I mean, my
right.
4-player minute last week was that like, I think everything's gonna be all right.
And I heard you, and I was very happy to hear that because I've just honestly, it's one of those things like I love Silent Hill so much, and I just kind of know what the reaction to it is. So I just kind of like I try to tune a lot of that shit out, and so it was good to hear that people were starting to come around on it. But I didn't think that would translate into critical.
I didn't
reception.
expect this high. I don't think anyone expected this high.
I
thought that like 77 was gonna turn into like an 82. Instead, you know what I mean?
Instead,
like
it is
something this high. This is crazy.
It's sitting at an 88, and it's getting more and more reviews, and it has not gone down. Like, in fact, the percentage of critics who recommend it is just going up with the more reviews that they put in there. It's crazy. So
it's a story game, and like, a couple months ago for Trailer Talk, we watched like a cutscene. It was like him and the little girl, and I'm like, it was good. It was like a good, well done scene, well acted scene.
And then of course you have all the people who see characters like Angela or Marie.
Wow,
they're flipping out because they think they've like censored the game by like making them.
It's woke.
They've
now.
wokeified the game, which is bullshit.
That's never real. And like critics who score a game aren't listening to that, so that was never gonna be like a thing. But.
So consider me like I'm astounded. So I took the day off today, and I've played about 3.5 to 4 hours, somewhere in there, of the game. And to give people an idea of where I am in the apartment complex, and I've crossed over into the other side, right, where everything's all fucked up. So not super far.
Have you seen Pyramid Head yet?
I have encountered Pyramid Head twice. So like there are little details about the original game that like, because obviously I've played this game, played it a long time ago, but there's like little things that stay with me forever, and I'm like, I hope that's just still in there. And there was one moment where you can like kind of, you turn a corner in a hallway, it's super dark, and there's like a barrier, but like on the other side of the barrier, a gate, and you can see Pyramid Head just kind of like standing there, just barely visible in the darkness.
They do that shit well. They do that scene justice.
They do that shit
not
well.
Not a cutscene. He's just standing there.
Just standing there, and but the moments, like I've seen enough of the moments that are like where they're cutscenes and they've been recreated, or scenes that have been like recontextualized, and it very much is that Resident Evil 2 remake kind of like playing with your expectations. Like the scene where you first encounter Pyramid Head in the apartment room, where he's like
fucking
messing
the
with
legs.
fucking the legs, whatever. It kind of comes out of nowhere. Like in the original game, you like walk into a door, and then a cutscene starts. In this one, you like walk into a room and you're exploring it for a second, and then you hear a noise and you come around a corner and it's like boom, and you're like, what the fuck?
The cutscene, or it's in game?
I mean, it starts in game, but the first moment you actually see him is in game, and then it switches to a cutscene. But like it happened in a room with a very different layout. So like I didn't recognize the room when I walked in. I thought it would be one of those moments where it's like, oh, I know what's going to happen here because I recognize the room. Did not recognize the room at all. So they play with expectation a lot that way. And over the years, I've talked a lot about how I really enjoyed Silent Hill Downpour, which I know is a kind of a controversial opinion, but what I loved about that game was how much freedom they kind of give you to like run around the streets of Silent Hill and find shit, like find environmental storytelling, find side quests and shit that you wouldn't otherwise find, that aren't required. And like from the beginning I was kind of like, how guided is this remake going to be? How true to the original is it going to be? Because the original is kind of like it feels open at first. It kind of leads you around. It lets you kind of like roam the streets or whatever. And like the only openness about it is you kind of have to like look at your map and figure out, okay, I need to go to this place, and here it is on the map. So I'm going to run through the streets from point A to point B. In this game, there are so many distractions just in the town of Silent Hill. Like there are alleyways, there are buildings with interiors to explore and stuff to find in them. You can walk up to if you find like a store that doesn't have like a shutter behind it, you can like smash the glass and jump into the building and find shit. And they start to like trickle out like hints at characters that if you've played the original, you kind of know what they're talking about. But I was like, I don't remember this from the original. So they're definitely like, they're leaving new breadcrumbs and stuff. And that shit's been really great so far. But like the thing that surprises me the most about this, combat in this game is fucking fun. I have never said that about a Silent Hill game. I never thought I would say it about a Silent Hill game ever.
Fun?
I don't think it's ever been said
fun.
Period about Silent Hill game.
It is. I am loving
I feel like
the combat.
You're
in
not
this
supposed
game.
to be feeling fun playing a Silent Hill game.
No. Listen. I'm just saying because the controls, the camera, they're not fighting you. It feels like playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, like with the camera over your shoulder, the way and it has like so many like modern like quality of life things that just make it so much less of a chore to like move around the world. You can tap R1
have
to
a
do a quick
dodge,
turn and run. You have a dodge. And let me tell you,
It's
combat,
giving Condemned Criminal Origins.
I would go as far as to say that. And the combat is more, I feel like, is more prevalent in this game. Like there are way more enemies, but they're
That's so funny.
But
you're
they're
saying this.
they're strung out.
You were
They're
so
strung
mad
out.
about that combat trailer.
No. I was mad because people were using that as a litmus test for the whole project. Because I was like, at the end of the day, if the combat sucks, it doesn't fucking matter because it's Silent Hill 2. Like the combat has always sucked in Silent Hill. Of course, I want it to be good, but like watching a combat trailer for Silent Hill and then deciding the whole project sucks because you think the combat looks lame is kind of counterintuitive. Like, so it's all the other shit that matters, dude.
And like it's good.
And they do shit like you walk into a room and then like you clear it out. You kind of explore a little bit. You can double back, and then like you'll be walking and like one of those like the monsters, like the pair of legs, will just be kind of like standing upright against a corner or like against a wall, like blending in with the wall.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
It wasn't there before.
Is this game scary?
Dude, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's scary. It's as scary as any Silent Hill has ever been. It's definitely
Silent Hills.
Yes, it's
used
spooky.
To be scary.
It's fucking spooky, and the use of the audio design and the fucking soundtrack in this game is fucking phenomenal. It's yeah. I don't know what else to say about that. It's just so fucking. There are moments where it's just quiet. Today it was like quiet. There's like no sound effects. I'm like walking in this like really dark, like almost like a fire escape, and I walk past a door that I check, it's locked, and as soon as I walk away from it, like someone like boom, 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 like pounds on the door and just made me jump out of my fucking skin. Like, and the puzzles have been completely redesigned.
What are drops? I mean, what are you getting something from killing these things? You getting ammo drops? What's the?
I mean, a lot of it is because it's Silent Hill. You do a lot of backtracking. So, I mean, in this case, like if you're watching the footage, there is an item that you need to progress that's in the swimming pool. And this was in the original. It's in the swimming pool. It's in like a baby stroller, and but there's like 4 enemies in the pool. So for me, I was like, well, I got to go in there, and I'm not gonna go in there and not get hit. So I was trying to like pick them off and lead them out, but like they kind of need you to do that. But again, using a gun in this game feels nice, but it's got like a nice kind of like because all the enemies have like really unpredictable movement, and your gun is kind of swaying because he's not super confident. But like when you shoot something and it lands, it feels fucking good. You can take out their kneecaps and make them fall to the ground, but the best thing is the fucking melee, man. When you come up to an enemy and you hit it with like the piece of wood with the nails in it, combat is so fucking intense, man. If you
what
ever
difficulty you playing on?
I'm playing on normal, man. But like if you ever encounter more than one enemy at a time, it is challenging, and you got to be on point with the dodge button because they're coming at you from different sides, and a lot of these enemies will like spit at you and shit.
I'm watching the footage now.
Yeah, I mean the dodging really, really helps, and enemies pack a punch. So it's all in all, it's just like enemies.
I'm
feel
excited because
game.
My take on horror games, and the truth is what we've been putting up with for the past however much with all these fucking indie games is walking sim, sneak 'em up,
this is not
blocker
walking
hiders. I can't deal with that shit. I need some combat in my horror game. I'm here for it.
They have. I mean, I would have to go back and play the original again right now to kind of like really compare. But I feel like they have ratcheted up the enemy count and like the encounters in this game dramatically. But
do you
it doesn't
feel pushed to your limits with ammo? Can your melee break?
Dude, I had 25 bullets today, and I walked into a room and got spooked by an enemy, and suddenly I had 4 bullets left. So, like,
that sounds like a skill issue.
No. I mean, well, maybe, but like this was more of a just like it made me jump out of my skin, and and there were like 2 enemies in the room at once. So like trying to like manage multiple enemies at once can be a challenge.
That whole like that's very modern Resident Evil, right? Kind of lining up the headshot on your little wavy tube enemies.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. That's good. I mean, look, I thought Bloober's never made combat in a game before.
No,
They've made those kinds of games I was talking about that I don't like. So the fact that like it's actually pretty good is kind of maybe the biggest surprise for me, because
absolutely
they're just not. That's not them. And you know, like when like a Mercury Steam is working on a Metroid game or some shit, and you know, Nintendo has their hands in it to make sure things don't go awry, right? Same thing with like the Zelda game we're playing, right? That's like a studio that usually remakes games, but you know, Nintendo's gonna make sure that Zelda game ain't shit, right? But this is Konami published.
But there are, a lot of the core creatives from the original team are.
It really was a toss up.
It was a toss up, but like a lot of there's maybe not a lot, but there are a handful of original core team members from the original team that made Silent Hill 2 that have been kind of overseeing this project. Akira Yamaoka has been very hands-on with the project as well, remixing and making a lot of new music and that sound design, and it's fantastic. So like there's a certain amount, like you can tell playing this game that like they knew what was at stake here, and they couldn't fuck this up.
But remember when Ninja Theory made DMC and they brought in like combat designers to make sure, like, look, dog, Heavenly Sword kind of sucked to play. Like, no one did this with the combat in this game, so I'm saying I'm glad that it came out okay.
I mean, I think it's also because we live in a post Resident Evil 2 remake world, and
you mean
what?
Post Alone in the Dark world? They were the kind of cream of the crop when it comes to horror game combat, right? Earlier this year, Alone in the Dark.
If you'd like to find out, Brett, you just got to send me that Steam family invite.
Oh, I do. I could do that right now. I keep forgetting. Go ahead.
But you know, I think if anybody was kind of going into this kind of on the fence, and I think a lot of people were, it really all kind of came down to, was Bloober going to be able to stick the landing? Were they going to be true? Were they going to be able to be true to the original, but also give it its own identity? And I think they fucking nailed it. Now I'm not sitting here saying that I think they should be given the keys to the kingdom and like let them make a new original Silent Hill game. Not necessarily,
but that's already happening though.
But
like
not
there's
Bloober Team.
A million Silent Hill games now,
right? But and this is why I brought this up in Discord, because my question was, and I feel like I was kind of shot down about this because I know we don't know anything about those other projects at this point, but like you can tell this was the tentpole of their push to revive Silent Hill. They put everything into this fucking game, and it worked. So, what is the bar now for the next? We know Silent Hill Townfall, which is like a Telltale style game, and we know Silent Hill F, which is that kind of like what's, oh my god, help me out here. It's like feudal Japan, or maybe not feudal Japan, but it's like you know
1980s Japan with
is it 1980s? Yeah. So it's very, very different.
That's
vibes,
very
right?
different. 1980s and feudal,
which is why I was struggling with the words. The point is,
and don't forget about the short message.
And look at the short message.
That already came out.
You know, you're right, but the short message came out before this, and Ascension came out, and both of those were bad, man. They were bad. So like, this is amazing. This is straight up amazing. I can't believe this exists.
How do you think this is gonna do? How do you think this is gonna do? Is this going to be like a Dead Space remake situation where like everyone loves it, gets crazy awesome reviews, but it doesn't sell quite enough, and then all of a sudden that Dead Space 2 remake ain't
all I can say is I hope their expectations are tempered, because they've got to know going into this that Silent Hill hasn't had the best reputation. Konami hasn't had the best reputation. So they can't go into this expecting like 10 million sales. Like the fucking whole, you told me this week, Silent Hill is a franchise.
The whole series is a 10 million.
Like, yeah. So like they've got to know all that going in. So like their expectations hopefully are realistic, and
it's been in development for a long time though.
Right. But like I just keep coming back to like, just because this is amazing, I don't necessarily think I have a lot of faith in those next two projects, because the Silent Hill F team, like, it's one of those situations where like I think prior to this project they've only ever worked on like mobile gacha games and shit, and now they're making a AAA Silent Hill game. But it's also, now that's kind of giving me like Stellar Blade energy. Like maybe maybe it will be amazing. I don't know. But
whoa, Bloober Team's over 250 people.
Yeah, I mean they're a big team.
I didn't know they were so big.
I mean, they've been growing steadily, and honestly,
Yeah.
when they got this project, they probably like doubled in size.
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting out a
'cause-
project every 12 to 18 months at this point.
But this is obviously the biggest project they've ever done. So I don't know, man. But like, but at the end of the day, like this exists because Silent Hill 2 exists, and really, they did a really good job adapting it, and then they had people keeping them on track to make sure they didn't fuck with the narrative and like the things that people truly care about. And I hear all that stuff is really well done. From what I've seen so far, it appears to be really well done. The voice acting is excellent, and the acting is excellent. So like.
Easy. You don't want to piss off the other Silent Hill fans.
I don't give a shit. But
they were acting a certain way. They were trying to achieve a certain tone. You know, it was that way on purpose.
But like, yeah, I mean, it definitely achieves a tone and a vibe. Like, this game has immaculate vibes. I mean, I haven't felt vibes like this since I played. I mean, probably since I played Silent Hill 4, because that was the last Team Silent Hill game.
Since you played Alone in the Dark. Did you play Alone in the Dark, or was that just Chris Davis?
That was just Chris Davis. But add it to my list of games that I might try out during my little Halloween stream. I don't know.
I might have to play that because this is the first game this year that GameFly did not ship to me at launch, and I'm so pissed off because it's October. And I really want to play a horror game that isn't some Carlos bullshit. And GameFly decides, I don't know if we have enough copies for you, bitch. But maybe that's a sign that people really want to play it. I don't know. It's been on my wish list all year.
Real quick, just to kind of address a couple things in chat. DJ Micah says it's not the original voice actors, right? And that is correct. They are new voice actors, but they're really good. I mean, in my personal opinion, they are really fucking good. And the kind of like just the directing in all the scenes that I've seen so far has been really well done.
It's so woke though. They had to cast an actor with an actual dead wife, of course, because they couldn't have a fake dead wife.
Is that true?
Real quick, Chris Davis, your name on Steam is Edis.
No,
Edis?
that's Ed.
That's the last spot for our family goes to Edisi. How do you say?
I mean, this is entirely up to you. This is more me allowing you access to my games and me wanting you access to yours.
Whoa. Easy,
Damn.
buddy. What the fuck does that mean? I was about to click your fucking name. Well, you don't want to play anything in my library? You think I got some like
I haven't looked at your
scrub-ass library?
Chris Davis, for someone who's consistently talking about how much money they don't have right now because they're building a house, you should be all over this.
Like, I mean, or I could just be like what I've been doing recently and either playing 20-year-old games that I've played several times before, or just not playing any games.
But
that's fine. Just don't drag my Steam library. What the hell?
You're a weird one, Chris Davis. Anyways,
fine. You are. I can invite you as a child. Does that mean you can't play any mature games in the family? That's so funny.
That's probably the case. Yeah.
Look,
you're invited.
Silent Hill 2 remake. It's a fucking miracle. It's a fucking miracle. That's all I'm gonna say. Everybody should play it.
It's a miracle that Bloober didn't fuck this up and they did as good as they did. Because that was the big concern. It wasn't that everyone thought that Silent Hill couldn't be good. Everyone was just worried about Bloober and modern day Konami.
Look! If you're watching the footage here, they do the thing that Resident Evil 2 started doing, right? Where all the doors like swing in and out, right? So they're just like push doors. So like you go into a door and like there's no loading screen in between rooms, so like you push into a room and you can see an enemy there and you go, oh fuck, and you like back out of the room to try and get some space between them, and then you're just like waiting outside the door hoping that they come out, but they never fucking do. So then you gotta like build up the courage to go running in.
Fucking building going both ways is insane to me.
It is, but like
a modern building.
It is. It's insane. It's purely video games. Like, but Resident Evil 2 started doing it, and it's been that way ever since. But it makes going in and out of doors really easy. It makes it seamless going in and out of doors. But yeah, this is pretty miraculous. Anyways, I'll talk more about it once I finished it. So let's move on. And for the sake of not jumping straight into another game that I've played, and I know Brad has not played a ton of, why don't we go ahead and talk about UFO 50 now?
Oh, look at you! This is like it feels like a pity.
My gift to y'all.
Shut the fuck up. I mean, it's the hottest game of the year, which you now have access to, Chris Davis, because I have it in my Steam library, my pathetic Steam library.
Thank you, most kind.
Yeah, the UFO 50 minute. I got 2 more games to discuss because that's, I guess, the best way to talk about UFO 50. What did I bring today? You wonder? Golfaria. I wanted to talk about this one specifically. This is one I finished.
This looks addicting as hell.
You do have to have the I think 100% to get the cherry cart, which I'm getting close. I wanted to show this one especially because not only is it one of my favorites of the collection, this is one of the most like reviled games when people first start playing it.
Reviled.
It is very, and I hated it as well when I first started playing. It is very not newcomer friendly. There's like crazy insane physics. So this is a golf Metroidvania where you're literally hitting a golf ball basically around a map, Metroid style, right? But the thing is, you're when you start the game, you only have 20 strokes, and when all 20 strokes are gone, you die. Right? So you're trying to figure out this world.
I've not gotten very far in this game.
It's insane. It's insane. And what makes it insane is because the physics are crazy, because it has like crazy, it's like mini golf topography. It's not like a golf game. There's like crazy elevation everywhere, and you're trying to get across ramps and up slopes, and and you just go flying in different directions, and then you inevitably hit some water somewhere, and of course you just, like when you hit the ball in the water, you lose a stroke and you go back to where you started. So you're just trying to like hit these shots to get around the world and maybe get some upgrades, figure out what's going on. And you're just dying over and over again because you're running out of strokes. And it's kind of infuriating at first. And really, I couldn't stand it at first, but I kind of pushed through because from my experience with UFO 50, everything this happened with a lot of games where like I didn't get it at first, or it was kind of like difficult to like understand the hook of the magic of the game at first. So I knew there had to be something here, and it's a cool idea. I love Metroidvanias, and it's a golf one, right? But I pushed through, and as soon as I started finding some of those stroke upgrades where you get like which is basically like a health increase, which basically means you live longer, right, per checkpoint or whatever. I started to get like actual like Metroid style upgrades. One of the first ones you can get, it is very open-ended, is like a break. And let me tell you, it's insane. Before you get the ability to kind of slow your ball down, you're just flying into water, flying down slopes. I mean, you would lose progress.
A break, like you could slow down the ball.
You could slow down the ball, and that's huge. Eventually, you'll be able to like break through bricks. You'll be able to like slide around on water, and it makes the game so. That combined with like subsequent like stroke upgrades, it's a game that goes from like infuriating to like really addictive and fun. Once you start getting used to the physics, once you start getting those upgrades, it becomes super fun. And it just I realized, as I got further into it and I realized I was hooked, that, there's actual like interesting Metroid style level design here, design around like the power-ups and the unique physics of this game. And it's just extremely well put together. Like a really cool idea for a Metroidvania, executed very well. But it is a rocky start. And that's why when you see like tier lists, because people are inevitably doing like, oh, I'm going to rank all the UFO 50 games. It's either like, it's like either in the bottom tier or like near the top. And those are two types of players that pushed through and players that bounced off very quickly. And I get it. I was one of those at first, but I'm glad I stuck with it because it's one of my faves. It's really, really cool.
All right. Who made the dad joke in chat? Who did it?
Who can say?
Somebody. Yeah, okay, it was Chris Davis.
Now I don't know if you could like skip ahead to the other footage. It's a little hard to record footage of 2 different games in one video. I should probably just do 2 videos from now on. But the other game I have on here is, I remember when I see it. My footage is behind. Can you see what it is, Nolan?
You're driving a car around and teleporting.
Oh, Warp Tank. Oh God, yeah. This footage is also me struggling how to get to the level, like an open level. This is also not a Metroidvania. It is like it's don't even know how to describe it. It's just like
You're
a
a
action adventure game. You're a tank, and you the core mechanic is like a warping from the ceiling to the ground, or just like to the opposite
surface
that you're on, right? And am I in a level yet in the footage?
I mean, it looks like you are, but I don't know.
There's like a hub world where you're trying to get to the different levels. If you're seeing like blue shit, I'm probably in that hub world trying to figure out how to get to the next level, because the way you get around is like warping from one surface to the other, kind of figuring out like how to get to where you see where you want to go, but you're like, okay, if I gotta bounce off of here, I gotta move around this edge, and then I gotta bounce onto this side, and then I gotta move over to this edge, and now I'm kind of where I need to be. It can be really, really tricky navigating the world, and the level design is completely designed around that concept, and it's so good. It's so weirdly, like, I thought this was going to be a one-trick pony, in terms of, like, oh, this is the gimmick for this game. It's going to be a nice little romp. But this is a, like, lengthy, challenging, like, straight-up puzzle platformer in ways that continually surprise me. There's a lot of levels in this game, in this world, because the more I play a bunch of it, and then I go back to the thing, and it's like, oh, you're still only 9% through the game, and I'm like, how is that possible? I've been playing so much of this.
This is the longest game of the year. UFO 50.
Oh, 1,000%.
For sure.
1,000 fucking percent. And it gets really, once you start clearing games, getting gold carts, God forbid cherry carts, it gets really addictive, because you start filling up, see that screen of 50 games start filling up with gold carts and stuff. And it's like, ooh, then you start looking up, what are some easy gold carts, man? Because I want to see some more gold, baby.
Hooked.
What are some easy cherries? I got my first cherry this week as well.
In what?
And yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't know where I am in this footage, or how long this is going to go on. I get stuck.
Brad, can you not hear us?
Seems I can hear you.
He asked you what game you got the cherry on.
I don't. Asked you like 3 times.
I'm not cranked up so high because I don't want my shit picked up on my mic. Y'all have given me crap about that before. Let me turn up a little bit. I got a cherry in camouflage, because if you do all the levels and you get all the collectibles in each level, it's a pretty easy cherry. I know I could probably get the party house one, but I haven't attempted it, just because I've been trying to like split my time around different things,
right?
Keeping it fresh. So where I am in the footage, I am completely stumped. And this is what I'm talking about. It seems like a really easy concept to do like a puzzle platformer behind. Well, my options are to shoot and all these games are 2-button games. You can shoot and you can warp from one surface to another. So surely in this single screen like obstacle that can see all of, I should be able to figure this out. It's not like I'm going to get some upgrade and come back here. All I have to do is figure out how to get up to that ledge, and you see it and you're like, I can't figure. I don't even know if I do it in the footage while I'm recording it. That's how much I get stuck. And that's how like clever and insidious Warp Tank actually is, because I get challenged by a lot of these games in terms of like twitch, like the action. Some of these games are just insanely like breakneck speed. You can die really quickly, like fucking Valfaris. Like if you like take a breath in that game, you're dead. It's like go 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 go. This is a game that is like it's a think 'em up, right? Like it may look like an action game, but it really is like, I can't figure this shit out. So I respect it so much that it's just puzzle platformer level design. And when I finally get it, I'm like, oh, I feel like an idiot. But like, that's so smart. That's so fucking smart. The fact that I can stare at a screen and just not see it until I do see it, and then I'm like, holy shit. This game keeps doing that, and it keeps surprising me with that shit. And it's meaty. Like I've been kind of trumpeting for this game, obviously. I've been playing it for like probably 70, 80 hours now, which spread across 50 games doesn't sound that crazy. But this is another one, like absolutely top of the heap, man. It's fucking awesome. It's really good.
Sweet.
And yeah, that's my...
Cool. Well, I like this format. Just keep bringing...
Stay tuned to next week. 2 more games, baby.
2 more games. They should really like this whole collection is like
this Derek Yu guy. He's one to watch.
They should like study this when you're like in school for like game design. Like this should.
I've never seen anything like it. Like this is one of the most ambitious video game projects I've ever seen.
It's like in like the mid to 2010s when your mom would go to like a random store and buy you a game console for like $30 that has like 500 like arcade games on it or whatever. But the difference is these are all good.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Good old Cheetah Men.
I don't know if we said it, but like this is kind of like a good version of Action 52, which was an NES game that had like 52 games on the cartridge. They were like all terrible. It was trash. The thing is, they also charged $200 for that. Action 52 was a $200 game MSRP.
Yes,
it was a huge ripoff.
Jesus.
Yeah. And the final game was Cheetah Men, which was this awful platformer where you played as these different cheetahs. And the final game in this game is owl. It's like your owls, and I think it's an homage to Cheetah Men, but you're owls. It's kind of funny.
Nice.
Cyber
owls.
Which wait till that episode when I talk about that, because that's also an unhinged like idea. You'll just wait.
So over the course of 25 episodes, we will cover all 50 games in UFO 50. Quick. So before. Nolan, you've been playing more Zelda. Would you like to talk about your experience there?
Sure. Brad, have you played more Zelda? I don't know how far you are.
I have played more Zelda, but I'm not super far. I'm in the Gerudo dungeon.
Okay, so is that the only one of like the game kind of guides you to do two different areas?
It's the one in the desert, of course.
I know where it is. I'm saying, is that the first place you went?
We know what
that's
a
the first
Gerudo
place
is, Brad.
Well,
okay, cool. So, no, the reason I bring it up is because I finished that one and I finished the next one. So I've definitely now surpassed you, but obviously you've been playing UFO 50. But no, I've been playing a decent amount of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And it's good. I will echo what Brad brought up last week that, yes, once you actually start getting into the overworld, surprisingly a little bit of lag every once in a while. When you're in dungeons and stuff like that, it's not too bad at all. It's just when you're in the overworld itself.
I haven't played a ton, but I haven't found it. I mean, I've noticed it, but
Nick,
doesn't.
It's because the game hasn't opened up yet. Once you finish that first dungeon, it changes. Like it seems like because they limit you off, they probably just don't load in the extra stuff. So
I thought it
runs a lot better.
I guess not technically.
Well, you're in the overworld, but it's a very limited overworld until you finish that first dungeon. Then the entire game opens up, and it opens up to the extent that I did not realize at first. When I had played some last week, we had laughed and joked when we originally saw this game. They're like, oh, if you can just create stuff, you can probably just break it and go wherever you want. Yes. Yeah. You can go wherever.
Like Breath of the Wild style. Like everything you see, you can get up there.
The limitation are literally the outsides of the map. That is it. From moment one, you have to unlock some echoes probably, but you can basically start going anywhere. It doesn't matter that there's a giant mountain in your way. There are ways to get up it.
And are we saying this is a good thing or a bad thing?
It's cool.
It's
cool because you can stumble into areas with harder echo enemies, and those will it's like Aria of Sorrow, Dawn of Sorrow. Like everything you kill becomes an echo. Like everything is an echo.
Yeah.
So like when you come across a harder enemy and you're able to take it down, you now have like a much more powerful echo.
So I had done some probably more exploring than I had probably should have been, and like early on I found some level 2 like moblins before I had done any of the dungeons, before anything, and those have been like super helpful because they're very powerful, and you can find I found a couple of echoes that I can't even use yet because I don't have enough of like the little triangle like resource I can't even use them yet, which is interesting. And so what I will say,
to date it, I think.
Oh, for sure. It's just to stop you from getting something too overpowered early on. But yeah, and so I will, not necessarily a spoiler, but it's just something that, by the way, when you finish that second dungeon, you don't, because I think after you finish maybe the first one, you get like an extra resource block, which is nice. So you can either create bigger things or create more smaller things, or maybe a big thing and a small thing, because you have more of those little triangle resources. After you beat that second one, you don't get another one. They actually reduce the cost of several of your already obtained echoes.
Oh.
So instead of costing like 4, it now costs 3. I don't know how they choose which ones are which. I'm sure it's set somewhere. But I'm like, oh great, I'm going to get another resource, and maybe I can now start using that echo that I've never had enough for. But nope, I still can't, because it didn't give me an extra one.
Can I ask you something? You've done 2 dungeons. Did they feel like fairly distinct, or?
Yes and no. So the reason I'll say that is because they definitely have different themes. The one you're doing now, Brad, in the Gerudo Desert, is sand themed, so it has a lot to do with like raising and lowering sand and stuff. And while I will say the next one, which is in the Zora area,
it's raising and lowering water.
It is raising, lowering water. But what I was going to comment on was, it was interesting that I don't know if this is the first game that has both the river and the sea Zora. So like the OG Zelda game, the Zora do not look.
Well, I guess
exactly.
they're both fish fuckers, but like the old ones were like more creature preferable. Of the Black Lagoon.
Exactly.
Fishy.
So the old school Zora, were very creature, like you said, like they were less sleek and like fuckable. And so the way they describe it in this game,
all of them.
Damn, no.
The way they describe it in this game is they're the river and then the sea. And so but yeah, so yes, that dungeon is a little more raising and lowering water, but it's a lot more you're actually going underwater, and you're doing things that are like having to solve puzzles underwater, having to move things, but all of a sudden now you're running out of breath, so you either have to find a bubble spot or find a thing. And there was one, I don't remember where I got it, but there was like a random side quest I did somewhere in the world where my reward was like a scale that lets me breathe underwater for longer. And I'm very glad I got that before going and doing this dungeon, because it was very helpful. It's somewhere in like the Zora area.
See, that's pretty
cool.
cool.
I think that all the side-scrolling portions are kind of making some of this stuff feel kind of homogenized, because when you get to like the side-scrolling portions, which are common, I feel like it kind of limits. It's just there's ladders, and I mean, I don't know.
When you're underwater, it's a little bit different, because the fact that you're not limited by the ladders and stuff. You're just swimming around and solving puzzles and doing things and stuff. But so I've only done those 2. And then I've just kind of done some overworld exploring. I've not gone to I know where I'm supposed to go next, but I've not gone there yet. And so kind of going back to some of the complaints we had the other week. And so here's a small pet peeve. I am still playing Pokemon here and there. And one of the games I'm playing right now is BDSP. And so one of the things that game does
Brilliant
is anytime
whatever.
Yeah, Brilliant Diamond.
Okay, I was like,
Shining Pearl.
Should I know what this is?
I needed a second.
No, it's
gotcha. Okay,
it's fine. Here's the thing that game does. If you're ever in a text box, whatever, dialogue, talking to someone, progressing the story, you can press A to move along, or you can press B to move along, or you can press the bumper or the trigger. Any button will move along dialogue. But in Zelda, it is just A. If you do not press A, it does not, and it's so frustrating, because sometimes, and I understand that, you shouldn't be multitasking, blah, 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 whatever. But, I'll be reaching for my drink, or I'll have a text on my phone I want to respond to real quick. And I have to make sure I'm holding the controller in the right way, because only the A button will progress dialogue. And it's just like, the shoulder buttons don't do anything. Like, why can, and it's just like, then I go back to this fairly old, Pokemon game, and if you're in a dialogue box, you just press the bumper and it will continue on. And I understand it's a pet peeve, but
it sounds like the Pokemon company has kind of made that. Is that what their studio's called?
Game Freak.
Game Freak. I don't know why I thought it was Pokemon. Game Freak is like,
that is the thing.
That's probably like a Game
the
Freak
Pokemon
thing, and not necessarily a Nintendo thing. It probably should be a Nintendo thing.
It should be any game. Like, what does it matter? You press a button and dialogue like progresses. Like, why not?
Progressing dialogue, making dialogue progression as accessible as possible is so important. And I'm learning.
I don't know if I remember, but I was struggling with it big time in Ayuden Chronicle, 100 Heroes. Yeah. Which is a game I still love.
The other reason I bring that up is, like I said, echoing what Brad brought up last week, there's a lot of dialogue in this game. There are cutscenes that talk and talk and talk and talk.
I feel like it's wrong. It feels wrong in a 2D Zelda. When I think of A Link to the Past and even A Link Between Worlds, those are like fucking lean, pure. Like to me, Link to the Past was like one of the first like quote unquote perfect games I played, where it's like, man, there is no cruft here. It's just,
dude, when your uncle dies, it's like 3 lines of dialogue.
Damn, I mean, they're like fucking Metroid games, man. It's about the world. It's about the exploration. Nothing is slowing you down. No talky bullshit. But in this game, it's like the quest design is talking to people. So much of it's just talking to people and bringing shit to people. And
I'm assuming, like, as of right now, Brad, you're
the main story stuff. It's just like yap. I'm like, come on, I just want to explore. It's frustrating.
And I am not one to say that there is not benefit to storytelling. But there are some times in Brad's in the Gerudo Desert, and I don't want to spoil the story there. The what happens there from the time you enter to the time you exit is an interesting story. But to Brad's point, they could probably cut out 3/4 of the dialogue, and the story wouldn't change.
Yeah,
it would still be as good. It would just be less kind of just like I feel
like
that's
just probably
vomit of just like, why?
That's probably like where you're seeing the impact, the influence of like this third-party studio more than anything else, because like the trimmed fat, so to speak, on other Zelda games is like, because Nintendo's got that shit.
Tears of the Kingdom can be pretty talky at times, but there's so much game in that game. There's so much game in between those talky parts that it's like it's dwarfed.
Yeah.
Here it's like, I don't like the way it's weighted, honestly. It's
right.
Weird.
Agreed.
It's reminding me of Skyward Sword a little bit. And I thought we left that in the past.
You're not wrong. But yeah, so like I said, overall, I do like where the story's going. I have been enjoying it, even though, like I said, it's just there's more text boxes than there need to be.
Right.
And I definitely been enjoying the gameplay. I've gotten some fairly unique echoes.
It's exciting getting new echoes, just like in Castlevania, getting new souls. Here it's ooh, what is it gonna do?
And the fun thing here is similar to the same thing we've seen in every Zelda game. You get an item, an echo, in a dungeon, and that helps you in that dungeon to solve the puzzles, to defeat the boss. And generally when you get up to the boss, it's like, oh, how do I solve this thing? And it's like, oh, well, you remember that echo you probably got earlier in the dungeon? That will probably be helpful. But the thing is, it's less obvious in this, just because you don't, like,
so many.
To Brad's point, you're not unlocking an echo in the dungeon. You're probably unlocking 3 or 4 echoes in the dungeon, because every enemy can be one, and oftentimes also several objects. Another thing I will say is, we had talked about it briefly last week, Brad, that you sleep in the beds to regain health, and there's the upgraded bed and stuff. I have found that as soon as you earn a heart, if you leave the bed and re-enter it, you heal so much faster.
Really?
Just FYI, yes. If you just lay in bed and wait for your heart, and it's fine early on, but now that I've unlocked more hearts, and there's been a couple of times where I've taken a bit of damage and I'm low on health, to just lay in bed and completely heal takes a long time, versus just literally laying down as soon as the heart earns, jump up and go right back down. You heal probably twice as fast.
It's like that with the enemy echoes too, where like it's sometimes better just to respawn them because their attack animation will come out quicker than waiting for them to do it.
So often, yes, I will spawn an echo, I'll let them do their attack, and I will immediately respawn them, because it's their animation, or they don't always go into an attack. Sometimes they do like a little dance, or they want to do something in between their thing, and so sometimes it is way faster just to despawn and respawn them. Yeah.
I can't decide which one I like more. Novelty in chat says bed strats, which I think is pretty good, but Pokop says power naps. I think it's also pretty funny. Good stuff.
I so desperately want like Brian David Gilbert to do a video about like, I don't know, the coolest echoes or whatever. He'd find some.
He's
clever
probably
video.
cooking something up.
Funny.
Yeah.
Is there a new meta yet beyond just like drowning enemies?
I don't know. I mean, that's definitely a viable strat in this game.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're referring to the bond, and then you can move them and just drop them into water and they drown. That's definitely something you can do.
Well, I've heard you could just carry around a cube of water and then shove that into the enemies and they insta-die.
Okay.
I've not
spoiling
tried that.
a game. Like you did this last time where you're spoiling something you're not even playing. This is like Tears of the Kingdom. Like learning a technique doesn't go away in your head, and I don't want to know about things that make something easier.
Okay, sorry, I thought this was
it's like Scribblenauts. It's like as soon as you learn that there's a jetpack, you could just type jetpack into Scribblenauts. You just ruin every puzzle in that game. It just you don't even have to think about it anymore.
It's like what you're saying with UFO 50 with like the scores for Scribblenauts are either like super high or super low, and that's the difference is whoever figured out the jetpacks thing. Okay. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Metaphor ReFantazio. We're still really, really early in that, but there's some interesting stuff to discuss there. And then we'll wrap up with the 4-player minutes.
And 10 bells.
10 bells.
And 10 bells. Oh my god, you're right. 10 bells. Holy shit.
Won't take long.
Okay.
It won't take
long. 10 bells, Metaphor ReFantazio. When we come back, if you're listening at home, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
People started New Game Plus. I specifically did not because I've
that was
literally been fucked from that DLC. I've been fucked on From Software DLC before, so I never even started the New Game Plus thing.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was stupid. I finished the game and immediately started New Game Plus just to be like, oh, let's see if it carries over.
I knew better,
and then found out later that I had fucked myself. So not only did I spend 50 hours in Shadow of the Erdtree this year, I did what I needed to do to get through it, get to that point where I could play Erdtree, but again, my wife basically carried me to that point by telling me all the different tricks to getting back to that point, of which there are many.
Shout out to Kinitsugami. I feel like that one came and went, easily forgotten. I mean, I think the timing was fine, but it just didn't get the attention even then.
I regret not playing that.
When you really start to dig into the games that came out this year that nobody on this podcast has even had time to play yet, that I know some of us want to. Like I downloaded the Plucky Squire on PlayStation Plus because it's on PlayStation Plus. Nobody's played that yet. I'd like to find time for it. There's other games that have come and gone that I want to try. Nobody here tried, what was it called? It was on Nolan's Fantasy Critic, Bo, Path of the Teal Lotus. I was kind of interested in trying that.
I hadn't even started Nine Souls.
That didn't materialize. Yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. Anyways,
Frostpunk 2 is on Game Pass.
Frostpunk 2 is on Game Pass. But no one is playing Zelda right now.
Empires remake.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and we still got some big stuff before the end of the year. Obviously, new Life is Strange, new Dragon Age, new Mario and Luigi game,
Stalker 2,
Indiana Jones, a lot of stuff.
Dragon Age, Velgar, it's all we need.
So yeah, a lot of stuff. But just kind of like transition in here,
Silk Song?
That's not happening, Brad.
Welcome back to the show, everyone.
Welcome back to the show.
How sick would it be, though? How sick would it be if everyone was like, oh, video games are good. What's going to be game of the year? Is it going to be Astro Boy? Is it going to be Metaphor, UFO 50, Silent Hill, whatever people are going to be saying? And then, like, Game Awards, Shadow Drop, Silksong strolls in, and they're like, wait, what about me, dog? Then it's going to be Universal. Silksong's going to be shitting all over all these other games. We're like, who gives a fuck about this other shit? The real game's here. That would be wild. It would be wild.
It would be wild, Brad, and I'm not going to lie, I'd probably rage quit Fantasy Critic. It'd be over. It'd be done. But yeah, anyways, I wasn't really originally planning on talking about this, but two things happened. One, We talked a little bit last week about how a bunch of shit got delayed, and basically all the wheels came off of my Fantasy Critic League. And also, one of those games was something I was kind of hoping would be the crux of my strategy to finish Brad's challenge to me to get 10 points on his weird scoring chart of playing obscure
Weird
Japanese
chart.
games.
Easy scoring chart
in 2024. And that's obviously not gonna happen with those games. So it really kind of came down to my only choice here if I want to get across the finish line is to play Metaphor ReFantazio, the next game from the studio
over here.
That made
I can say that until you get your points. There's tons of games on that fucking list that you don't even kind of consider. So don't act like there's not options. There's plenty of options.
I'm not
there's
saying
a Saga
there's not
game.
options.
There's a East game. There's
I
a
don't want to play
Trails
those
of game.
I'm
too ugly for you. You graphics hoe.
Yeah,
let's talk about how pretty Metaphor is.
Let's talk about it. But real quick, a couple things. So in addition to that, I was not entirely convinced that this was going to be my strategy here. Until the fucking reviews dropped this week, and congratulations, Chris Davis.
Everyone's been telling you this game was going to score.
I thought it was going to be, again, I thought this was going to be like an 88, right around 88, 89,
true,
maybe.
True, but when people were saying 88, that was like the fucking floor. Everyone knew this was going to be like...
I don't know,
man. No, this is the Persona A team, and they have respect very few developers have. Period. Like they are a premier, and Square Enix doesn't even have this anymore because they're like fucking dicey these days. There is they're like the fucking Larian of JRPGs. Everyone trusts them to ship.
There was a part of me that was a little skeptical just because it didn't have Persona in the name, and I thought a lot of people were going to be like, well, this is not what we really want. This is the stopgap until Persona 6.
I get it. But did you see the scores for the last Shin Megami Tensei game? They're also up there.
Yeah.
These people know how to cook. Or they cook.
This game is, I think right now on OpenCritic, this game's sitting at like a 93, so...
Which is crazy. That is higher than expected for sure.
It is crazy.
It was at 95, and it went down to 91, but
everything's at 95 at the start. It doesned matter.
And everything, and you know, at the same time, the reviews came out, and I was like... But they also said they were going to do this thing, right, where they release a demo. But the demo is just the beginning of the game, and that's your save data will carry over, which is
the best trend in games.
Best trend and a perfect
the
marketing
worst
thing.
Trend is early access, pay more to play the game a few days early.
Yes, which no, but Silent Hill 2 had that, and I resisted, even though Silent Hill 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. But, anyways, Metaphor ReFantazio, I played through. I haven't finished this demo because it's actually a pretty girthy prologue demo. It's like a 5-6 hour trek just to get through the demo. I'm probably about halfway through that, and I know we're gonna dive deeper into this later. So I really just kind of want to give like first.
For sure. I mean,
first.
I don't know if I've made it clear, but this has always been a 100% pickup for me because this is a game that has a lot of the things I don't like about Persona.
Yes.
But like all of the things I do like about Persona, which is like the top-notch presentation and style, and
which is top-notch, and the thing that it does, what I will say, and a lot of people have the kind of like the elevator pitch to me, at least in our own Discord, has been like it's like Persona, but without all the where the characters aren't all like high school kids, right? So you don't have that kind of
insufferable,
which are some would say insufferable. Very quickly,
some of them are dogs or robots
or
cats.
True. And some of those
bears.
and those are often the best characters in those games.
Let me. Not just that, Nick. It's not just like that school setting, which I kind of can't stand. Not any these days, honestly, a little bit overdone. But the things that like turn me off of Persona, I fucking hate. In my opinion, the limited combat system. But I also really hate the fucking progression system in almost all Shin Megami Tensei games. These fucking demons, and you fuse them to make more, but like it doesn't make any fucking sense. You take a snowman and a fucking angel and you merge them together and you get a horse dude, which is fine, I guess. But then you take the horse dude and like the fucking snowman again, and now you get a fucking pixie. And it's like none of this makes sense. And then you take the pixie and the horse dude again, and you make a fucking snowman. No, it just like you can't make any sense to it. I fucking hate it. I'm a Monster Hunter guy. Monster Hunter, you fight the red dragon and you get a fire sword and some red armor, and that makes sense to my brain. It doesn't make sense to just the arbitrary nature of fusions making all kinds of different things. I always hated it in Shin Megami Tensei games and Persona games. And I'm so glad this game with a job class system.
But Brad, the music that plays when you're in the Velvet Room to merge them is fucking choice.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And the music here is good too.
So real quick, the first thing right out of the gate starting this game is it just kind of throws you into the deep end of kind of like this new lore and kind of establishing this as like, okay, this is not like high school kids Persona. This is a completely original fantasy universe that they've built, and it is
grown-up anime,
and it's grown-up violent. It is. I mean, honestly, like right out of the gate, it feels very like Game of Thronesy. It's like we're talking like kings being assassinated and blood everywhere, and just like shady individuals,
swords and elves and blood. Shit. This is my kind of shit.
And in fact, as you kind of progress, you start to like, obviously, it drip feeds you like things about the world, and it starts talking to you about all the different. It's like there's basically like a caste system in the game, but like all the different casts are like different. I forget what they call them, because it's like obviously it has its own like library of terms and shit that I don't have memorized yet. But like all these different like races of people who are like, but depending on what race they are, it basically determines like their place in the world, and
whether they have tails or not. Right?
But some of them are like have like elf ears, and then some of them have like look like they're part dog. You know what I mean? Like but like all the themes around it and everything are really real and kind of intense and political. I mean, this game is probably going to like set off a lot of people.
Religion, politics, race.
The people who like to like
social class
lose their mind over shit being quote unquote woke are probably going to lose their mind here. But that's good because fuck them.
But you got to understand, those people love anime.
They do, and they
call them anime avatars.
They're gonna very casually but it's okay because it's anime.
Different. They're two different classes. I'm sorry.
They're gonna sweep that shit under the rug. But yeah, like it just very quickly established itself as something very, very different, and it is gritty and dark, and I love. But it also has like that Persona DNA very obviously front and center. Like there is like an equivalent of the Velvet Room in this game, and you go to it, you talk to a dude, you do different things in that place, and those things tie into the job class system that Brad mentioned, which are called archetypes, which seem to be pretty cool so far. But I've just kind of barely started.
You have social links that you build with people, and those will unlock job classes, and I this does have a calendar system. It's one thing about the modern Persona games that I also don't like is the very rigid calendar system. And I'm a little sad.
It makes more sense in Persona because it's all built around like a school schedule.
It made more sense in Persona, but again, I have not played enough of this to really know.
Like the first event in Metaphor that is like on the calendar is like a funeral, so you're like trying to get somewhere before a funeral happens, and that's happening on a very specific day. But I don't know if you can. I don't really know if you can like actually miss that, or like, you know, because it seems very integral to the story. So I don't really know. I don't really have a good feel for like how a calendar system works in this game.
What do you think about the combat?
So one thing I'll say, like they've done a lot of stuff because like my biggest complaint with Persona has always been kind of how long it takes to do everything. Like dialogue takes forever, and like running around dungeons and like entering, like you have to always watch the animations when like the fucking battles start up and stuff. And here there's like a split battle system where like you can like in real time combat, you can run up to enemies and attack them. And if you deplete their I forgot what they call it, like a break meter or something, you can actually defeat them without ever triggering like the actual like turn-based battle. But if they're stronger enemies,
if they're weaker enemies.
If they're weaker, correct. So you eventually get to a point where you can just be running around. If they're weaker enemies, you're just like hacking and slashing and getting experience that way.
Is that part fun though? That the hacking and slashing?
I mean, it's pretty simple, but it keeps the momentum and the pace of the game moving much quicker. Because like you're only spending time in the really elaborate, drawn out turn-based battles against enemies that are actually challenging, or in theory challenging. So. I mean, I think it's a pretty cool system, and it keeps everything kind of moving at a nice clip. And the auto, we were talking about this earlier with Zelda, but like the auto progression of text of like dialogue works. You said it once, you don't have to do it every single time conversations happen. You said it once, and it remembers from conversation to conversation until you decide to turn it off.
Okay,
and it works beautifully, even for dialogue that's not spoken. It gives you a pretty decent chunk of time to like read it before progressing.
Accidentally when I was playing that demo, which surprised me.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a little careful with the non-spoken dialogue, but
also, come on, dude.
I knew it. This
isn't fully voice acted. This isn't fully voice acted.
I mean,
come on.
Everybody has all the major characters have voice actors, but not every line of dialogue is.
Yeah, I just
major.
I feel like,
major
I feel
dialogue
like this
is spoken.
team could get there, and if I told you about Ayuden Chronicle. Now, granted, I'm just saying. I feel like this is like premiere. This is it's giving Nintendo a little bit. Like, come on. I know y'all got the money for it. This is your A-lister, okay?
But just like Persona, like I just
fucking lines.
I played through Persona 3 this year, Reload, and I don't think this is. I mean, there's chunks of dialogue in that game that are not fully voice acted. It's
I'm not defending Persona. They've had this problem.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, I'm just saying it's about on the same level as Persona. Like there are a lot of parallels between this and Persona in presentation, in just kind of like general systems, in like lore. There's a lot of metaphors. It's just kind of a different genre of storytelling, anyways. But
it seems super promising. It's just it's such a scratch of the surface, even for you, Nick. I am playing a few hours like this.
I was gauging. Well, here's the thing. I was going into this with like, I don't know for sure if I'm going to play this. I don't know if this is really my thing, but I do want it for the points. But like, I'm not going to just
even after playing what you played at the demo, like you're not necessarily vibing with it.
Listen, I mean, no. Going into it, I wasn't sure if I was going to vibe with it. But the fact that this demo, this prologue exists and it will carry over into my save data was all the reason I needed to actually play it. So I was going to just kind of wait and see what my reaction to it is, but I am into it. I'm loving the lore. I'm loving the universe they've created here. I'm loving the vibe. They've already got me kind of the hook in my mouth as far as like what the kind of like the story hook, I suppose, makes me want to learn more about what's going on. I'm in.
Before we move on, can I briefly tell you about the
it's
time
like 100-hour game though.
Traumatized Henry. So when I get a new game, he's always like super interested, and I'll tell him like, this isn't really for you. You shouldn't be watching this. But then he's like, oh, okay. But then he'll be like standing in the kitchen watching it, and it's really annoying. And I'm like, just don't look at the TV. And he's like, he can't stop looking at the TV. And I'm like, look, I've never played this. I know it is a game for grown-ups, but I don't think it's scary or anything. Because he's always worried about things being scary. Mm-hmm. Like horror or whatever. So I'm like, look, you can sit down and watch me play a little bit. There's fairies and shit in here. I already I already watched the opening cutscene where they like kill the king or whatever. So it's brutal. We're just kind of chilling. We're just kind of coasting. So I'm like, what? You can sit in here. I know he can't watch this game. I knew that much, but at least he could quell his curiosity or whatever, quench his thirst for, new game or whatever by just watching a little bit of it and then realize it's not for him. He get bored or whatever. And it was like when the caravan gets attacked and like fucking people get cut up, and he just loses it. He's like, oh my God, he killed him. And he was like, fucking, how dare you let me watch this? This is super scary. Because I guess,
tell mom.
You know, he's like, he's dead. He's scared. No, she was standing in the kitchen. She knew what was happening, and she knew it was gonna fucking happen. But I told him, I just tried to be like straight up with him. Look, this isn't for you, but I know you're gonna keep watching it anyway, so you might as well come over here and sit down and figure it out. That is not for you. But again, I didn't know what was gonna happen. There was a fairy on the screen. I thought the game was kind of chilling out. But yeah, it got pretty intense pretty quick. And, you know, it was bloody, right? And I'm like, dude,
this game is very bloody.
Lego Lord of the Rings, slashing at orcs with sword, asking to watch the movie. I'm like, if you can't watch that, if you can't handle this, I'm like, this is a cartoon. That was an elf anime shit, right? Like, if you can't
and then that
handle
elf
this,
fucks some shit up.
I'm like, he's like, and I tell him, like, what do you think swords do? What I'm like this is knights and kings and shit. It's like, what do you think the knights do? He's like, they protect the king. And I'm like, how do you think they do that with swords? And he's like, he killed him. And he does this thing where like his mouth is agape. Like, how could you? It was, and my wife was in the kitchen behind him. She was dying. Malia was trying so hard not to crack up.
That is,
but it's so funny when he gets like that.
It's you've got a real empathetic kid here. You know?
It's true. He's a softie for sure. But it's a PS5 game. I got to play it on a console.
Definitely.
I can't play this shit on my Steam Deck. It runs like shit on PC.
Your kid, Henry, not a sociopath. There's that.
No, the opposite of whatever the fuck a sociopath is. Too much emotion.
Too much emotion. All right. So yeah, we'll revisit this when we're actually playing the full game. Like I said, I'm on board. I'm probably not going to pick this up until after Silent Hill 2, after I play some of these other horror games that I want to play this month. But I am definitely going to get through the prologue and then get into the meat of the actual game here pretty soon, because it seems pretty cool.
He's 7. I think I already saw my first Freddy Krueger movie at 7.
You know what's funny you mentioned
I just have bad older brothers, but you know, come on.
I feel like Terminator 2 when I was 5.
This is like my deepest shameful secret, I feel like, especially considering how much I love Scream.
Oh my God. Are you going to say what I think?
I've never seen Nightmare on Elm Street. In fact, I almost watched it the other night, but I ended up going with Trick or Treat instead. Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Bad choice. Are you kidding me?
I have never
like a horror like all time. Find a top 10 list that doesn't have the original Nightmare on Elm Street on it.
I don't know.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I just need to watch the first one, and then I'll probably be hooked. I just, you know,
Johnny Depp, watch him get murked.
Spoilers, I know.
Freddy, everybody dies. You know.
Yeah. So.
Dude, that really is like an all-time classic. And then skip 2, but then go to 3. Is like it's when it gets like super campy and it's like delicious. I don't even know which one I like the more, like the horror classic or like.
Was the third one directed by Wes Craven? Because I feel like I just kind of want to watch the Wes Craven ones.
Oh, shut the fuck up! Look, Freddy's bigger than Wes Craven. Okay, go watch New Nightmare Afterwards or whatever. Who gives a shit? Dream Warriors.
The only film
is so good.
The only film that I have seen with Freddy Krueger is Freddy vs. Jason. The first movie I ever took myself to see in the theater by myself because I couldn't find anybody else that wanted to watch it.
All right. I'm going to give you the 15-second rundown. Watch the first one. It's a horror classic. 3, 4, 5 gets dicey. 5.
Wait, why are you skipping the second one?
Listen to me. 1, 3, 4, 5. Just finish it off. Skip Freddy's Dead. Watch Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And then you're done. Don't watch anything else.
Freddy. I hear you. But what is so bad about the second one? Just out of curiosity.
Literally an entire documentary was made about what the fuck is wrong with the second one.
Really?
That documentary is not worth watching. That documentary is worth watching. Maybe more than the actual second movie.
Okay.
Interesting.
Noted. Good to know. I will pop my Nightmare on Elm Street cherry this month. I promise you. Sorry, I know that's a little graphic. Anyways,
yeah, I don't like how you said that.
Sorry, I had to make everybody.
I like how you said it.
Okay, now it's weird. All right,
Time to ring that bell, Brad.
What else we got? Is this?
Yeah,
10
bells. Oh yeah.
This I forgot about it again.
This is easy. Easy capturing footage of this because it is a What is the Exit 8? Is that the one that kind of popped off a little bit earlier this year?
Which
Exit
one?
8? Are y'all familiar with Exit 8?
I was not familiar with it.
So this is an anomaly game, but it is specifically the flavor of anomaly game. It's not one of those like camera shifters. You remember when I was talking about those on the podcast probably at some point.
What is an anomaly
in the past
game?
12 months, I suppose. I think around last Halloween I was playing the game where you're switching the camera feeds looking for anomalies, and you have to detect and remove the anomalies.
Yeah.
This is an anomaly game, but it's kind of a new flavor. And they've been around for a little while, but the one that popped off recently was what is it called? Terminal 8, Exit 8, the Exit 8. Yeah. And this is an Exit 8 clone, I suppose. Where it's the same sort of thing. You're looking for anomalies, but you're walking. And Exit 8 was a game where you're walking down a subway station path or whatever, and you're just sort of like looking around, looking for anything weird, right? Basically, and then and the idea is, and it's the exact same here. In this game, you're walking through this pub, right?
That was creepy.
There's kind of like two sides to this pub, old timey. I think this is like a period thing. You go to one side, you go around the other side, and then you kind of exit down the hallway. And as soon as you exit, it loops, and you're back at the start. And you're like, oh, whoa, right? But the mechanics of this game are, if you notice anything different, turn back and go the other way. If you notice that if you think nothing has changed, keep going forward. Okay. So you either take the exit forward or you take the exit back. If you are correct, it progresses to the next bell, and you have to get 10 bells to win the game. If you make a single mistake, which means if you think there's an anomaly and you go backwards, it restarts. If there are no anomalies,
back at 0 bells.
If there are anomalies and you progress thinking there are none, it goes back to 0 bells. So the idea is to go 10 loops looking for any anomalies. Now, they range from very minor things like, wait a minute, I don't think the wallpaper in this part of the pub was this color. I'm pretty sure it wasn't this color. I'm pretty sure, okay, these rugs weren't here. There's no way. And then you go back, right? Because it's an anomaly. It's something different. That means it's
the balls on the pool table are in a different position.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was one of them. And it's a randomly generated, like it's almost like a roguelike, right? It's a horror roguelike, if you will. But the thing is, some of the anomalies can actually be just like horror events. Like, oh, this is not a minor change. Something is horrifying is happening, and you get scared. You're scared, but you're running backwards because, of course, that's not normal. But in this one, some of those things can actually like chase you and instant death kill you, which is crazy.
That's fucked up.
Which I didn't expect. And there's some like pretty horrible shit that like chases you, that you can like stumble into that you really should not. So it's super an Exit 8 clone, and there's probably a lot of these games like this, but this is like a pretty good one, and it's fucking scary. I was streaming this on Saturday, and people were having a lot of fun because it's a game where like everybody's
involved,
has to pay attention, and you're waiting on Chad, and there's a delay, and he's like, "Does anybody see anything? Does anybody see anything?" And like I'm like, just scream stop if you something seems off to you, and everyone's like very dialed in, but then you also have the temptation to like new people are showing up, or like, oh, what's going on? And everyone's like, it's like, oh, wait, I don't think that light was on. Everybody's like, shut the fuck up. The light was never on. Shut the fuck up. You're new here. You don't know what's going on. Shut up. And then there's people like trolling who are like, oh, I think I saw the bar stool move. And everyone's like, dude, this ain't the game. This ain't the time. We are in this together. And that's what made it fun. I did almost get to the end, but like the game was still a little glitchy, and I like kind of glitched out and it screwed me. But when I was recording this footage, I was kind of on a run, and Malia was in here, and I was kind of showing her the game too. So I stopped the recording and I kept going, and I actually did finish the game. And I think it might have been like a bad ending situation. I don't know, but I definitely got through all 10 bells at the end of this footage. Well, you're not going to see it because I stopped the footage, because it kind of goes on and on. It's fun. It's a fun type of game to play, like if you're looking for a horror game for the season.
Right.
And it's a fun type of game to stream. because again, people kind of get into trying to find this shit, and it can be really little. Like there was one where like there's a few paintings that are like kind of like oceanscape paintings, and like the water was like red in the paintings. I'm like, but it was like just a little bit red, like blood almost. And I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's not what these paintings looked like. But you start second guessing yourself. It's like, wait a minute, maybe they were always like that. And then sometimes
and then you got to make a judgment
think you
call.
catch an anomaly, but you don't catch the actual anomaly. So you're like, oh, I'm pretty sure like, you know, that rug wasn't there. So, or like, I'm pretty sure that rug wasn't there. So then you go backwards because you think it's an anomaly, and you're like, oh yeah, I was right. And then you're going back through again. You're like, oh wait, the fucking rug is there, man. It wasn't that. It was something else, which means something else was different and you didn't catch it. And you were, you know what I mean?
And you
because
lucked out?
It's a 50-50 chance every time. So it does happen. Sometimes you do luck out, but it's kind of scary or frightening when you realize that the thing you thought was right or wrong was actually not the thing, especially when scary shit can be happening. Because I had times where like someone in chat late was like, you didn't see that dude peeking from behind that pillar? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so it's scary. It's good. This is a fun one of those. I don't know if you remember.
I caught a moment.
He gifted it to me. I think it's $10.
I caught a moment where I saw a hand come out of the chimney, like out of the fireplace, and grab.
I didn't
something.
see that when I played it on Saturday. Yeah.
Pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
Fun game.
Cool. Glad you enjoyed
it. Or the 10 bells. I don't know. It's the
10
art
bells.
says 10 bells, but then the Steam name is the 10 bells. They need to probably sort that one out. Weird.
All right. Yeah. So I think that's it game wise, and Fantasy Critic. Is there anything we want to say about? I mean, we already talked a lot about scores.
11 bells.
Wait, what?
I did something when it glitched. I did something when I was confusing, and I got to 11 bells, and I was like, "Yo, was that the true ending?" Because I'm pretty sure I got the funeral in the footage that you had seen today, and I'm
Now
pretty sure
Brad
that was the bad ending.
Now Brad's just totally having conversations with people in chat.
Was I barking up the right tree with 11 bells?
When you got to 11 bells last night, an achievement went off. So,
okay, I was getting scared, dude. It was crazy. Anyways, yeah,
that's what the people tune in for. Anyways, we've talked a lot about Fantasy Critic scores this week in relation to Silent Hill and Metaphor ReFantazio. Was there anything else that significant that
I'll say the only thing notable? I mean, Chris Davis finally got a dub, which is nice, right?
Had to happen eventually.
It's good. I don't know if it's gonna I don't know if he's necessarily back in the game or anything, but it's definitely the best news he's had in a while.
Yes.
I will say the most notable thing, and this is crazy to me, because if you really look, there's at least 10 slots that need to be filled, and there was no bids last Thursday. So I don't know if we're like waiting each other out or what, but we are almost halfway through October.
So
we got to pick up some shit.
I am in a situation where I have 3 open slots and only $2, which means I'm probably
your situation is unique. You have to sell something,
which means I'm gonna have to sell something, but somebody's gonna have to. I'm not gonna sell like my best thing because that would just be pointless.
No, and no one expects you to, but like no one's gonna want to buy a 70 off something.
No. I'm probably gonna sell like
80 something.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna sell. I was thinking about maybe selling Ultros, which is an 80. Or something.
It's 79.
That's not a bad sell. 80 is good for Fantasy Critic.
It's also locked
for cash.
Is it locked? Oh, somebody.
Does that mean you can't sell it? Yeah, I think you could still sell it. It just stays locked.
I think I have a couple options. I think Indica is also a 9-pointer.
I'll buy Lorelei from you.
Nah, you're not getting Lorelei from me, you bitch. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
But I mean,
we had this conversation tonight already.
It has to be approved too. But I mean, a fair trade. I think the idea is if the trade is not like, in bad faith, like our situation earlier this year, I don't think we have any reason to like thumbs it down unless it's giving somebody a clear advantage.
You have 3 slots and $2.
Yeah, so I need to get
sell it for $1. I'll buy it
for
$1. Then you'll have 3. So then you can buy.
The problem is there's so many slots open. Buying anything with $1 is going to be tough.
I'm also sitting here thinking
he might have to eat that 70.
Yeah, I might. I mean, I'm also sitting here thinking like I don't think it's gonna happen, but it is obviously a special case. Stalker 2, I hope it hits, but you got to remember the circumstances in which that game is being developed if it gets pushed, it could get pushed. I at this point, it feels pretty locked in.
Yeah.
But it could slip.
This has been the year of surprises. Have there been any tragedies this year in terms of, this game was way worse than people were expecting?
I mean, I kind of feel that way about Star Wars Outlaws in terms of scoring.
That was a little soft, but I think people kind of were sniffing that one out early a little bit.
Also, it sounds like some of the post-release updates they've done for it. if it were to be reviewed now,
it would probably awful.
Oh yeah,
that was a little bit surprising. Like in the 50s.
Luckily, that's not eligible for Fantasy Critic anyways. But
no. You know, a lot of leagues do DLC, which again, I'm leaving all these rules up to y'all next year if I'm anywhere near the top, honestly. But
all right, well, anyways, let's go ahead and wrap up with the 4-player minute as we always do. So
actually, Nick, just so you know, you've got 4 slots you got to take care of.
What? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Post Trauma is not releasing this year according to Fantasy Critic, so you got to drop that.
Right. I already dropped.
No, he's counting that one.
Okay, but you got 2 regular slots, and you have a counterpick slot that's open now.
No. That's a -7.
Yeah. I used my super drop on a counter pick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
We don't do mid-year counters. We did the -7.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just
Which has to be manually adjusted.
Yeah. There's just a warning here that says if you do not fill this counterpick slot by the end of the year, it will cost you minus 15 points.
Which is what led to the discussion of what we think the minus should actually be.
It's going to be a minus.
January.
We're going to have to manually adjust it, but yeah, the rules we've set up, that'll be a -7 for me.
Okay.
Sorry.
So go ahead with the 4-player minute.
4-player minute. Brad, why don't you start us off?
I'm going to let Nolan start.
God, this is the second week in a row you've done this.
Again?
Second week in a row. Third week.
All right, my 4-player minute time of the week starts now. It's slightly less video games per the past several months. Just been busy with life, trying to deal with blinds in the house, trying to potentially split the blinds purchased between multiple companies, because certain companies offer one thing I want and certain companies offer another thing I want. Dealing with the nursery. This weekend I ended up painting it. I thought the paint was supposed to be low VOC. What it is?
What was VOC?
Volatile chemicals.
Whatever it is. Essentially, like the.
Did you paint
and stuff.
the nursery with volatile chemicals?
It's more so like I was painting in there with like the door closed because I didn't want the dogs coming in, and it didn't really like seem like it was a big deal. But then the next day I woke up with a horrible migraine, which fucking ruined my Saturday because I ended up going I ended up sleeping until like 1:45.
Oh my God.
Dude, I felt horrible. But on Sunday, I ended up painting a second coat in the nursery with the windows open. Because the problem is, when I did it on Friday, I obviously did it Friday, so I worked all day, and then did it Friday evening. So I don't want to open the window. Yes, there's bug screens, but bugs still get in. And I don't want bugs sticking in, like, the paint. And so I did it Saturday. Yeah, I did it Sunday morning with the windows open, and then, like, a box fan in the window trying to blow out both the VOCs and any potential bugs. And that went much better. So now the room is painted, minus the accent wall, which we're hanging up wallpaper. Probably going to work on that tomorrow, doing wallpaper, and then the nursery will be done. To the extent of we can start moving like furniture and stuff back into it. So yeah. Things are happening. We actually have our baby shower this weekend. So once again, just another weekend where I'm not going to have enough time to play video games because I'm, driving I got to pick up my mom from the airport on Friday and then drive back home. And then I got to drive Saturday morning at like 8 a.m. to go to the baby showers in New Jersey because we're having it at a zoo, which will be fun.
That's cool.
It's
okay.
All the guests also get entry to the zoo, so people who are bringing their kids can kind of hang out and do zoo stuff. And I think we're supposed to have like an animal come, like the handler's going to bring like an animal and have like a little show and stuff.
Jack Hanna?
Exactly. So I don't know. It should be fun, but once again, it's just like another weekend where I'm not going to play as many games as I'd like to. That being said, like I said, been playing Zelda. It's one of the few games in the past few months that I've actually been itching to play. Like when I'm not playing it, I'm like, oh man, I want to get back there, and I want to
Not to jump on that, but everything I hear is that the more people play that game, the better and better and better and better it gets. It's a cool art.
I'm starting to unlock more echoes, and like the way I can get used to early on when you can only use one or two echoes, but now I'm like using multiple, and I'm trying to play them off each other and stuff like that. So it's definitely a lot of fun, and so I want to play more of it, and I'm excited to play more of it.
Sweet.
But that's really it for me.
Cool. We also found out this week, just on
good call.
Ed
is that public info?
Yeah,
he posted it online. Yeah, we talked about it in Discord in the public channel.
I don't have an Instagram, so
Ed and Katie are having a baby, and they're also due in December. So look at that.
Within a week of me and Bernadette.
Yeah, that's wild.
So
brother from another mother and father.
And yeah, so now
y'all will be on very similar trajectories as far as like milestones and stuff.
Yeah. So we're going to put
cool.
Fantasy Critic points on the line for who has the baby first.
That's funny. All right, Chris Davis.
Okay,
I've learned my lesson. I'm not passing it over to Brad anymore.
Yeah, it ain't.
Brad goes last now.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to split mine in half. First half, some excitement. Saber Interactive has announced that they are working on a AAA action RPG based on the Avatar: The Last Airbender franchise.
Hey, Saber has made a really good game now. Okay,
they have, yeah.
They're no longer relegated to low 70s. Okay.
No, it's not even about that. It just that doesn't seem like it's a weird fit for Saber Interactive. It feels like.
I mean, I feel like Saber's kind of a weird studio. Like
they make all over shooters and stuff. It's a little weird. And Mud Runner games.
I mean, I'm of the opinion just let Saber try. They've had a good string lately. Just let them see what they can do. And honestly, there's not a whole lot of good Avatar games, let alone a good Avatar game, period. So, just let them work. We need something better than what we got right now. I think an action RPG, especially if it's an open world thing.
You're eventually going to find out that it's based off of the M. Night Shyamalan film. Avatar.
There's that low budget horror game from Platinum that I hear is actually kind of decent.
Yeah, it was supposed to be pretty decent. It was the Platinum B team. Yeah.
Yep.
But this one, no, it's not actually based on Aang and those characters. It's like an Avatar legend we have not seen before. So it's some characters thousands of years in the past. So they've got enough narrative freedom there to potentially make something pretty cool, I think.
Is it going to be Avatar 2? A joke. Don't worry.
The other
like TOO.
No.
Okay.
No.
Don't worry about it.
The other half, and the more interesting news that happened this week or this past week was Microsoft is finally doing something with Halo again.
Halloween update.
They've circled the wagons and like you can tell they've been. Like they're pivoting, I don't know if pivoting is the right word.
I don't
for what this is.
So the Halo World Championships were this past week, and they had a bunch of announcements. The first thing was that 343 Industries is rebranding as Halo Studios because that's a good idea, and that they are pivoting all future Halo game development, of which there are 3 unannounced projects, to Unreal Engine 5.
And they released some footage of what the original Halo would look like in Unreal 5, didn't they?
Well, no. What they were actually showing off was what was called Project Foundry. It's basically an engine exploration exercise to see what they can do with materials and art and stuff like that. So they took 3 basic biome environments and just experimented with what they could do for UE5. This entire thing, the 7-minute video, was basically a recruitment video for, hey, if you're a UE5 developer, come to us and help us make the next series of Halo games. I think it also should be noted that none of the names that were the talking heads of this video were ones I really recognize. It feels to me like they're really trying to do like a whole fresh new generation of new blood, trying to explore and see what they can, what the next vision of Halo could theoretically be.
Yeah. I mean,
Guns in
honestly, like
space.
I feel like that's kind of what you do in situations like this. Like,
It's very
enthusiasm
much
for the
needed.
franchise petered out very quickly after Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody I don't think anybody who cares about Halo wants to see Halo just wither and die.
No.
But something drastic had to happen.
I think a lot of people want to be excited for Halo again, and this could get there eventually. The problem is, again, this is a recruitment video showing off a art exploration project. So the next Halo game, no matter what it is still years out.
Away.
So
Yeah.
Just do a battle royale, do an extraction shooter.
they already tried to do it.
Man.
They already tried to do that, and they canceled both those projects.
Okay, well, don't cancel them.
Brad with the solutions. Don't cancel them.
Yeah, don't cancel them. That's what the kids want to
solved.
play.
That's hey.
But what about the Halo fans who aren't the kids?
Did it not work for Call of Duty? Did it not work for Fortnite?
Yeah, did it not work for so many other games?
Did it not work for Apex or Titanfall?
Yeah. But the one really exciting piece of news for Halo for me is that it was announced for the 20th anniversary of Halo 2, which is November the 9th this year. Their dig site community is releasing officially for the MCC their completed version of the Halo 2 2003 demo. The infamous demo. So you'll be able to download and play that on November the 9th. Yes. And that is something I've always wanted to play.
What's special about the demo, real quick?
It was just like the very first showing off of Halo 2. And it showed off like the battle rifle, the SMGs, the self-driving car AI, things like that. Like it's this really hype demo where they showed off everything that was going to be possible in Halo 2.
That wasn't in the actual game. Everything in that demo was cut. None of that content remained except for like...
That's what I was curious about.
That's what we were trying to get to right there. Is that part.
It's,
I was like, yeah. But you can also play the full game.
Chris Davis is dying to play a demo for a game that's been out for 20 years.
I am.
I'm ready to go. It's quick.
It was just so
now cool. with the full context, it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Go look that up on YouTube. That it's a timeless video to really watch. Honestly, so
Chris Davis watches it once a week.
Like the 30 years of dance evolution, or no, nobody.
Nope.
Never mind.
Nope.
I just was trying to think of an old YouTube video. Holy crap, that's a bear.
I know what you're talking about. Brad. I got you.
We got there. All right. I guess I'll go next.
My 4-player minute. No,
God damn. I can't
go.
figure you out, Brad. I can't figure you out. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not complicated. Just wasn't ready. Y'all never are. So
I was born ready, Brad.
Not right. You got 3 people to get your shit ready. I don't want to hear it. And then it's just like, I'm going to talk more about Silent Hill. Don't lie to me.
That's not what I'm going to do, actually.
No, mine is, I just realized because I was talking about Platinum Games. What the fuck is Platinum Games up to? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's someone I'm always curious about. I know some people modern day Platinum Games, who they're shitty, but I actually thought Bayonetta 3 was way cooler than I was expecting. So I'd like to see something exciting from them, but I was looking at the dates. Double check this. Hideki Kamiya left Platinum Games on October 12th of last year. And I'm pretty sure they signed these like fucking non-competes. Like they basically can't say what they're doing for a year. So we might actually find out what Kamiya is going to be up to or has been up to in a few days, which is kind of exciting.
On the 12th, he's like, I got news for y'all. I've been kicking back and doing nothing for a year.
Well, he did that series of interviews.
I don't have a job.
with Ikumi Nakamura.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
From
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
And he was pretty like candid on there, but he didn't get into specifics about what he was working on. He did look like he was kicking back a little, but he also is working on something, or some team, some project. Who knows? Maybe he'll end up with Mikami. It'd be exciting. We might actually find out soon, which is kind of cool.
So it's expected that Project Gigi was canceled, right?
I imagine.
Okay.
I absolutely imagine that, because that was his baby, and
I can't remember the last time we heard anything about that.
It could be one of the reasons he did leave. Maybe that project got canceled. I mean, you can't cancel games in a row. Fuck this place is what I'd be saying. So
yeah. Well, okay. So tinfoil hat, but Yoko Taro did a promotional video for Metaphor ReFantazio last week or the week
he gets
before.
around though. He does all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, but he was doing that in Square Enix offices with their permission. So
he's working on a fucking Nier game, of course.
Yeah, but what if that is
you're thinking that's
project?
that's the next Platinum Games. Actually, that tracks. I bet their next big project is the next Nier.
That would make sense.
Because that is certainly what Yoko Taro's working on.
And we just got Stellar Blade Nier Automata crossover DLC. So,
yeah, but there's been a ton of
those motherfuckers know what they are doing.
Crossover. There's been a ton of crossover stuff. That means nothing really. They know that 2B is is an asset that you can.
I see what you did there, Brad.
Pimp out, I guess. I don't know. Sorry.
Oh, that
Anyways,
just took a
that's all
nosedive. Okay.
Well, that's kind of what they're doing. It's kind of tasteless most of the time.
Yep. Anything else you want to add to that, or is that?
No, that's all. I'm just curious. What is Platinum doing? What is Kamiya doing? What's Mikami doing?
Maybe this time next week we'll know. Okay. My final thought for the night is Silent Hill 2. No. On a more general level, I mentioned this at the top of the show. I am thinking about doing it because I don't really stream very much anymore. But every once in a while, the desire.
You got that beastie new
me.
PC, man.
Dude, I know, but it's for me. It's just for me to enjoy. I don't know. Okay. I mean, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. It's just whatever. I don't want to get into that here.
8K porn. I get it.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. No, I'm just kidding. But I usually get in the mood to stream something around Halloween. And there's a lot of cool horror stuff, especially now that we're doing the family sharing thing, and like maybe I can find something else on some of your libraries that I haven't tried.
You have access to Carlos's library. He's got all of the cool indie horror.
I mean, I'm gonna have to curate a relatively small list because obviously I don't want to just. I'm also like juggling a bunch of non-Halloween related stuff right now, and on top of that, after I finish Silent Hill 2, I am gonna start playing Alan Wake 2: The Final Draft. But with the Alien Isolation news, I was like, "Fuck! I want to replay Alien Isolation at some point." But I also got other stuff like right now. I want to play Hollow. I pumped the brakes on Hollow Body for a hot second so I can get through Silent Hill 2, but I'm gonna go back and play that. So there's just a lot of like horror adjacent stuff that I think would be kind of like it'd be cool to like rapid fire some of those things and then figure out which ones I want to stick with. And one in particular, which is a big one, is Outlast Trials, which is obviously a multiplayer centric game, and the only time I'm ever gonna find an excuse to do that is if I could do like a community night with that. So if anybody out there is playing Outlast Trials or has played or is interested in playing, when I figure out when I'm gonna do this, I will be out there actively looking for people in the community to join me for some Outlast Trials on the stream. And if you want to be a part of that and you're not part of our Discord, maybe you should be in there because that's obviously where I will be planning all of this stuff and keeping everybody abreast of the dates and all that stuff. But yeah, so in the not too distant future, expect I'll probably start around noon and just play until the wee hours of the night. And I'll just play a bunch of horror shit. Some longer than others, some I'll just dabble in, some I'll spend a few hours on.
DM me 2 recent horror recommendations that just came out. They both look cool. One is Mouthwashing, and the other one is Grun, GRUNN, that are horror games that just came out that he says are dope. He also bought I Am Your Beast, which I'm excited to try.
Okay. Wait, I think I Am Your Beast. I feel like I've played that. I could be wrong.
That's the El Paso Elsewhere guys.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of something else. Okay. Anyways, yeah, the point is I will be doing a horror-centric stream sometime this month. On a side note, the wife and I were, I think I mentioned this previously, the wife and I were trying to figure out kind of like a low-key vacation, like mini vacation we could do, and we ended up getting tickets for Universal Studios in Orlando. And
Low key, huh?
yeah.
Orlando's low key for you. All right.
Well, I mean, low key isn't like we're looking for a way to do like a 4-day weekend and make that our vacation. So we only have to burn through like 2 vacation days. But the point is, we bought tickets for Universal Studios later this month in Orlando, and
Horror
obviously
Nights.
Horror Nights, yeah. And obviously, Florida right now is in the path of a huge hurricane, and I just want to send my my thoughts out to everybody who's in Florida. I hope everybody is preparing and hopefully not panicking, but doing what you can to prepare.
That being said, get the fuck out if you've got an evacuation notice.
If you have an evacuation notice, take heed. But hopefully, it by the time it makes landfall, it's dissipated a bit. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, wow. We got super excited. Like the first time we planned our vacation, we planned our honeymoon when we were going to get married, and then COVID happened a month later, and now we've planned this one, and then a hurricane was barreling down. So I don't know if that's actually going to end up happening. We'll see what's going on there, but yeah, stay safe, everybody in Florida and the coast and wherever. I think Georgia might be in the path a little bit too. I'm not entirely sure, but everybody stay safe. And yeah, that's it. That's our show tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. 4playernetwork.com is, of course, our website where you can find all of our episodes. But if you're, more importantly than that, if you're not in our Discord and you want to hang out and talk about video games with a bunch of like-minded people who also like to talk about video games, among other things, you can join us at discord.gg/4player. And yeah, we record these every Tuesday night, so we'll be back next week to talk about more video games. In the meantime, y'all be good to each other, play video games, and good night.
Goodbye.
Bye.